So hey y'all, hey, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to be sharing the books that we are reading this month, which is February, and it's also Black History Month. So I know we teach our children about our history all year long. You know, I just know we do. But during the month of February, I always find some gems, right? I always find out some new information that I did not know before. I'm always able to see different collections on display and all of that. So I just wanted to share some new resources that I found about this month that I think will be beneficial as well to just live on my channel. So I'll be sharing that. If you're new here, my name is Shadiamond. I'm a homeschool mom to a 6'4" and 1-year-old. The 1-year-old is, you know, just learning. He's not necessarily being homeschooled, if that makes sense. But yeah, welcome to my channel. So the first resource I'm going to share with you is one I actually bought with my own personal money, right? I love the library, but there are some resources that I can't get from the library. So I follow this educator on Instagram who is amazing. Y'all watch. So turn the light back on, please. Turn it back on. Thank you. Her name is Donovan James. She's an early childhood, elementary, and Black history educator and researcher. So this is her book called Beyond February, and I love this because it's a great. Oh, did you see it? It's a great book to have and use and reference all throughout the year. She designed this book for kindergarten to 3rd grade. She designed this for teachers who really didn't know how to approach Black history beyond what's the, you know, the normal facts, right? Teaching about the civil rights movement and like the main civil rights activists that were in the forefront. Black history does not start with hardship and slavery. So she wrote this resource just as a way to highlight other parts of our history, right? So the inventors, the scientists, the change makers, the designers, musicians, I don't know what I missed, but I love how she has this book outlined to, well, she has 5 chapters in here, and the first chapter is Beyond the People, right? So it talks about inventors in food, activism in the American West. Then it has a section called Beyond the Books, where she gives us all of the books. She have a ton of resources in here. She also have QR codes where we can go to specific videos about the person we're reading about, and I love her for that. She also has Beyond the Curriculum. So you know how sometimes we stay within the black and white lines of set curriculum. She's giving them or giving us resources to use outside of the curriculum if you use one. And then she said Beyond the Month. So it's a section on how to incorporate Black history all throughout the year and not just during February. I personally am a huge fan of this book. As a homeschooling mom who does not currently use a specific history curriculum, I thought this would be great to incorporate myself. It's a lot of teachers' notes and stuff like that with images for different things. So say for instance we were talking about some recipes that our people created. We see how she had this on display. So this is like banana pudding and stuff like that. So talking about the older recipes and things of that nature and how it came about, tasting different foods and stuff like that. So it's a really great resource. Of how it's broken down to include books in different sections. So this one is Black Joy Collection, and it has the picture of the actual book, the author, and then a little bit of information about the book. It's great. It's great. And I also love that when we talk about like people of like, you know, Black history, we usually hear about the same people over and over, and we only know surface level information. So in her book she is sharing some of the people that we know about, but she is going a little deeper, sharing facts that most people don't talk about. Like in terms of Dr. Martin Luther King, most people always say the I Have a Dream speech, but he has more than one speech, and you know, it was a change of motive or change in like approach, you know, towards the end of his life. So it's good that she's sharing like factual history and giving resources so you can go look up more yourself. So that's my first thing. So from the library we have a little stack of books. We have some more books back there, but I'm just gonna share what we have. So the first one I have is Who Was George Washington Carver? Y'all know we love George Washington Carver. We want to know all of the things. My girls are a huge fan, so I chose this little chapter book because my daughter can read chapter books you know, independently, so I just want to give her things to read. The next one is this book called Your Legacy. And so this book takes us from before slavery all the way up to now, and it's good for history and just letting them know like where we come from and all of that. So this is a good one to check out. It says Your Legacy, a bold reclaiming of enslaved history. The images are amazing. I will just share a few. And I love like the message in here. So say for instance on this page it says, you are meant to do great things. Walk tall, hold your head high, and change the world. So this one is a really great one if you just want to explore, you know, like history, our people, and just take them through where we come from, like before slavery, during slavery, and now like recovering from slavery. So here are a few images of just a lot of our well-known Black figures. It even includes like, you know, Barack Obama. It's another page with just other people to discuss. So even with this, you can take a few people to learn about a week, right? And just talk about like how they got to where they are, talk about their story. If they did something during childhood that's notable, talk about that. And it also teaches about character, like courage and bravery and things of that nature, strength, all of that, culture. So it's a whole lot in this book. It's definitely worth checking out. Lots of information. They did a good job at condensing it to make it good for children. So that's the second one. The third one is a book that I got out of the Beyond February book. So the third book I have is called The Vast Wonder of the World, and it's about biologist Ernest Everett Just. This book is new to me, but because I have my degree in biology, I was like, let me get this book so I can learn some things as well as teach the girls. When we think about Black history, I don't think we really think about like the scientists and like the change makers in the health industry, science, you know, STEM, technology, engineering department. So this was a really good read, talking about like his childhood and the work that he did, the things he discovered, and how even as a little boy he was very curious about the world around him, how he, you know, endured segregation and all of that, and still was able to come out on top, right? And so I love reading books like this. For one, like I'm big on anything science related because I just always have loved and been super curious about science, just growing up as a, you know, a child anyway. But it also exposes my girls to different vocabulary. What is a microscope? What is a cell? And things of that nature. So this is a really good read, especially if your child is really interested in science. The next book I have is another book regarding George Washington Carver. This one is The Secret Garden of George. Oh, can y'all see? The Secret Garden of George Washington Carver. So this book gives a little glimpse into his childhood, how when he was a child he had his own little garden, and some of the things he did as a child, right? Because you know sometimes children look at history and they think, okay, this person is old or they're an adult or whatever, but a lot of the things that goes or, you know, flourishes in your adulthood stems from your childhood. So this book is a good book, giving them a little glimpse into the family he was born into, the things that he collected when he was a child, so nuts and berries, and how, you know, herbs and plants were used for medicine. This tells a whole lot about George Washington Carver, how he, you know, used flowers and stuff as paints, right? How he studied the seasons based on what was growing. How he experimented with things like, of course, sweet potatoes and peanuts and soybeans, and just a whole lot of things that we don't really hear about outside of like the norm, right? So I love how they really went into depth and just share his whole story overall. This is a good one. The next one I have is another book on a scientist. This one is Buzzing with Questions: The Inquisitive Mind of Charles Henry Turner. So this one is new to me as well, but I said, you know what, My kids love to be outside. We've studied insects, and we need to know about Mr. Charles Henry Thomas and why he was so fascinated with bugs and nature and things of that nature. How, you know, this is not really heard of a lot, like, you know, people specializing in just studying bugs and stuff like that. So this one was a really nice thing, a really nice book, because if you are, or if you had a child that's fascinated by bugs, like, you want to be able to share stories of people who have been successful in their area of study and stuff like that. So for my children, you know, one of them is scared of bugs, and the other one really has no fear. So if they want to be interested in stuff like that, I want to be able to have people that look like us, that have paved the way for them, so they can know about the history and be motivated, that this was done. They overcame these type of, you know, hardships or whatever, and still came out on top. So this is a good one if you have a bug loving child, or if you just want to know more about his story. Again, this book is new to me, and I wouldn't have found out about it if I hadn't read the Beyond February book. The next one we have is Stitchin and Pullin. This one is about Jeezbend, and I don't know if I shared in another video, but like, I had created a list about places that I wanted to visit in Alabama, because we are in Alabama, from the Black Belt area, and one of the places on my list was Jeezbend. Before, I asked on Facebook, like, who, you know, where should we go, whatever the case may be, and one of my family members recommended Jeezbend. I personally didn't know a lot about their history, but I did a lot of research, and then I ran across their quilts and the library here in Birmingham, as well as they came up with a line at Target. So I was like, let me learn more about the history, let me teach the girls. So we got this book, Stitchin and Pullin. We also watched a documentary, it's on YouTube, or PBS Kids. So this is about the women of Jeezbend, how they pass down quilting from generation to generation. All of the women quilted. It's a little different today because, you know, technology and all of that, so things are not the same, but yeah, Stitchin and Pullin, this is a really great book. It tells the history, how they use scraps and anything precious to tell a story through their quilting, how it was, you know, hand sewn, just all of the hardships, how they got exposure, but they still didn't really come out of poverty. It's a really great book, so share this with your child. So my next two books is about Alma Thomas, who is an artist, a painter. So the first one is Ablaze with Color. This one is for like an older child, and then the one I have for like the younger ones who are just like exploring their colors, it would be Alma's Art. So Alma's Art and Ablaze with Color just tells the story of Alma Woodsey. Is it Woodsey? Y'all don't want to say it wrong. Woodsey Thomas, how she loved to paint. How she wasn't able to take classes and things of that nature, how she wasn't able to enter museums, how people came to her home, like, to teach her about different things, teach her, like, you know, other black children, you know, we had to be educated at home because we weren't able to do or access certain places. So this is just a really good book on her style of painting, how she came up with her own signature style. It tells you about like how she always was in nature, inspired by what she saw, and also how she developed her signature style of painting once she retired from being an art teacher. So these are both good books to explore. Younger children, this would be really good because it's very simple and it goes by color, and then this one is more so about the background and all of that. The next book I have is Whoosh, about the Super Soaker. So about Lonnie Johnson invention and how he had a lot of trial and error of different products. Went from being a inventor to not having any money to getting that, you know, one deal that kind of changed his life and allowed him to do what he knew he needed to do. So it takes you from how he was a child and how he was always inventing things and how everybody really came to him for different inventions and just watched him, right? Went through a lot of things in high school where people didn't really consider him to be the brightest, but he invented a robot and different things, and he just had to prove himself. So this is for a child who is very like curious, adventurous, and, you know, love to build things. This would be an inspiration for them. And then I have another book on the quilts of Jeezbend. Haven't read this one, but this one is more so for like adults. It's not a children's book, but still good to read. I have this one, The Child of the Civil Rights Movement. This is a really great one that my daughter enjoyed. Before reading this book, we haven't really explored the civil rights like in depth, but she read the books, ran across some terminology she didn't know. I gave her background. It mentions like Marion, which is where we're from, and stuff like that. So this is a really great one. And then the last one I have for this video is Hidden Figures. And we know a lot about Hidden Figures. We know about the women in math. This book was really an inspiration for my girls. You know, we're doing math for homeschooling, and sometimes it could be challenging for them. Sometimes they have them second guessing themselves, but reading about women who are really good at math is definitely gave them a boost of confidence, right? So my 6-year-old the other day was saying, I'm really good at math, I'm really good at math, I'm Katherine Johnson, something like that. I don't know the tune, but it was like from this one book, this is instilled in her. Katherine Johnson was good at math, so I can definitely be good at math. So the things that we read to our children can definitely be our maker or breaker, right? A boost of confidence or some type of not so boosting confidence, right? So I've also created a video last year. I shared some more books that we read during Black History Month and every day. So I'll link that video here. Okay, so let me know if this is helpful. If you want to see more book hauls from the library, we go weekly, y'all, and we're always checking out books. But I wanted to share these specifically in the month of February to give you guys just some ideas and some things to check out if you have not read them already. And as always, y'all, it's about to get a little crazy. So I will see you guys in my next video.